Hello, Crafty Mavens! Welcome to the Crafty Getaway channel. I am Sara Scraps and I have your process video for Friday, for Art Party Friday. So I'm going to be painting. This is an 8x8 paper from Pretty Little Studio. And I'm going to pull some of my shimmers out. This is Moulin Rouge, which is a lovely rose, pinky, gold color. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint this paper. I'm going to paint this whole sheet of 8x8 paper. And we are going to make some fun hand-painted mixed media greeting cards for today. From the inspiration piece, instead of taking color, I took objects. So if you look at the inspiration piece, there are tons and tons of different kinds of painting going on. And so that was what I used as my inspiration, all of the different elements of painted artwork that are on the inspiration piece. This is Key Lime, my second color. So I'm painting this with 3 colors. The Moulin, I'm going to paint all the big flowers pink, all the leaves green with the Key Lime, and then I'm also going to paint these little daisies with Moon Rock. Moon Rock is this silvery metallic-y gold color, and it is stunning. I love it so much. So these are all Shimmers paints. I think they're either Shimmers or Blings. They're the ones that are already mixed. Those are the ones I like. I don't like the ones that are hard that you have to add water to, but I really, really like these ones in the little pots that are already all mixed up and ready to go. And they have the best shimmer. So now I've gone ahead and painted this entire sheet of paper, and then this is a sheet of mixed media paper from Vicki Boutin, and I have tons of different stencils. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but I decided to go with this polka dotty one, which is also from Vicki Boutin. So I'm going to just trim off this paper, and then I'm going to grab some random washi tape that I have hanging around on my desk, and I'm going to tape the washi tape to the paper. So since we are making cards today, we're not making a layout or anything like that. It means I can kind of play a little bit more with my stencil and get really nice areas, stenciled areas, without having to worry about the overall look of the whole entire page. So these are Dazzlers. These are Sour Apple Dazzlers. These are also by Shimmers. If you are someone who likes Shimmers products, I get mine either in the Click Kit shop or at Spiegel Mom Scraps. I don't think I've gotten Shimmers products from anywhere else except those 2 places. So I just ran the Sour Apple Dazzlers through my stencil, and now I have to let everything dry. And I let everything dry overnight because the Dazzlers do take a long time to dry. Also, a word of note, I put a nice thick coat of Dazzlers on these card fronts. When I use Dazzlers, I always put a nice thick coat on them because Dazzlers expire. So they dry out, they get goopy, you really can't keep them indefinitely. So I would rather use my Dazzlers and put nice thick coats on my projects than have the Dazzlers go bad on me. That's my thought. So what I'm doing here is I cut the green stenciled pieces down to a card size, and then the 2 pieces that are left over, I'm going to fussy cut all those gorgeous flowers I colored because I took all that time to cut, color, and paint the gorgeous flowers. I want to keep them. I want to keep as much of them as I can. So I'm fussy cutting all of the different elements of flowers. And then I'm going to use this Nina Bright White cardstock to make my card bases. This is 65 pounds Nina White Bright White cardstock. I just get mine in an office supply store or Walmart, and I find that it works fabulously for anything you're not going to use mixed media on. So for my 8.5 by 11 layouts and card fronts, this is an incredibly inexpensive, fabulous option for white cardstock. And if I am going to use mixed media or paint or get messy, then it's either the Vicki Boutin mixed media paper or Basil Marshmallow cardstock is what I use. One of the 2, whichever I happen to have handy. This paper that I will also say that the paper that I painted was an 8x8 sheet of paper from Pretty Little Studio, and it took that paint fabulously. It took that paint as well as my Wild Whisper papers take that paint. So Pretty Little Studio is another fabulous option for paper and patterns that don't work too badly when you paint them. You can really, I love, this paper is very similar to the Wild Whisper paper, which is also that same way. You can really, load on the mixed media on these papers without any kind of gesso or anything, and it works out wonderfully. So I'm just adding a little bit of white craft foam to pop up some of the layers. I do realize in hindsight that 2 of my cards, I did all that stencil work and I'm covering up most of it. That maybe wasn't the plan when I started, but that's how it worked out. So, but the third card, you see a lot of the mixed media, a lot of that stenciling. So here's that third card, and all I'm doing is I'm taking all those fussy cut pieces and I'm gluing them to a piece of stenciled paper. So this is all the things I'm gluing down. I'm gluing them down with Scotch Tacky Glue, my favorite glue. It's in a fine line bottle, so this is the yellow tipped fine line bottle, but I also have a blue one. It depends on what kind of detail work you're doing. This is the bigger tip, so the glue tends to run out a little bit more. I get more glue. But if I'm doing, tiny detail work, then I want to use the blue one. And so yeah, I'm just really literally sticking and plunking these flowers down to different parts of my card. So because this was the offcuts, a lot of them have edges, like they're not full flowers. So I'm keeping them all to the edges of the flowers or the edges of the card front, which is perfect because then when I make my card, I have a nice place for a sentiment. So for this one, I decided not to use the craft foam and to make my card front just a bit wonky, just because it was a little smaller than the others. It's really just like the extra card because I didn't want to waste anything. And so, but I do think I love how it turned out. So this sentiment is also from Pretty Little Studio. I am using a Tombow marker to color in the empty hearts that go along with it, and this is going to be the sentiment on this card. And then I'm going to grab from my stash some Spiegel Mom Scraps sequins and all those little black dots that you see that are part of the pattern of the cardstock or the pattern paper. So the pattern has these little white dots, and I decide that I want to sparkle this card up just a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and add a sequin to each of the places that the black dot is full. And then on the back, I'm going to stamp this lovely handmade stamp. This is a brand new stamp set from Altenew. This is the first time I used it, and I stamped all 3 of the cards, and I love it. It's turned out so nice. Also, the ink I'm using is also from Altenew. They're crisp dye inks, and the name of the color ink is called Puffy Heart. So this is going to be my third card, and for this card I pulled out a set of stamps from Jelly Bean Soup, and I'm going to go ahead and use this little piece of ephemera. This is actually from crepe paper, and I'm going to kind of do a tone-on-tone stamped sentiment, and then I'm going to add that stamped sentiment to my card. So for the second card in the middle, I just grabbed a sheet of craft die cut piece and that one was also from crepe paper, and that one just said hello, and I just popped it right in the middle. Easy peasy done. And then I put the handmade stamp on the back. I decided I want to fill up a little bit of that space above where my sentiment is. So I'm going to go ahead and grab again that Puffy Heart ink. The darker ink that I stamped the sentiment in is called Purple Wine, in case you're interested. And these are all Altenew. These are the mini ink pads. I love them because I love mini ink pads, period. I do, and they're like my favorite thing. They're easy to store, they last a long time, and they're really, really nice. And so again, just going to go ahead and add my stamp to the back. And now here are all 3 of our cards done. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this process. Be sure to check out the blog post and have a fabulous day. Bye!